The Jets are cutting some massive paychecks. For Sauce Gardner, shutdown corner, All-Pro his first 2 seasons, and he's the highest paid corner now in NFL history. Garrett Wilson, electric wide receiver, pure number 1. He's put up numbers with what feels like a dozen different quarterbacks. He just lands a massive 4-year deal. The pillars of this team's 2022 draft class, they're locked in. And we can say it was a very good draft class. But once the confetti settles, once everyone's done giving high fives, there is a tough question that's waiting for this front office. And it's a question that is way more complicated and way more risky than the last 2. The next big decision involves a player who, when he's on the field, is just as dominant as Sauce or Garrett. But that's the whole problem. It's all about when. What do you do with a player who's arguably the best lineman you have, but you can't guarantee will be on the field? So today, we're breaking down why extending Alijah Vera-Tucker is the most critical and riskiest decision the Jets will make this season. The whole issue with Alijah Vera-Tucker is it's a classic battle of elite talent versus a brutal injury history. On one side of the argument, you have a player who's everything you want in an offensive lineman. Since being drafted in 2021, AVT has been a versatile beast. He plays a high level at 4 different positions. He's a mauler in the run game, a stonewall in pass protection. He's a leader in the locker room. His tape is honestly just a highlight reel of him burying defenders. When you watch him play, he's a blue chip talent, and I feel he should be paid like one. But then there's the other side of the argument, and it's the part that gives GMs nightmares, and that's his injury report. Vera-Tucker is heading into 2025 on his fully guaranteed $15.3 million 5th-year option, and after that, his future is a total mystery, thanks to a medical history that you just can't ignore. 2022 and 2023 were stripped from him because of major injuries. And we're not talking about a guy who misses a game or 2 or tweaking a hamstring. We're talking about devastating injuries that raise real questions about his durability. It's the ultimate conflict for the Jets. Do you bet the house on a player who could anchor your offensive line for the next 5 years, or do you play it safe because his history suggests he may not be there when it matters the most? It's a high-stakes poker game. And there's no easy answer. To understand why this is such a huge deal, you have to understand just how dominant AVT is when he's healthy. And we're not just talking about a good player. We're talking about a guy with legitimate all-pro potential. In his rookie year, he was a rock at left guard. He played almost every snap. He made the all-rookie team, and his real value was his versatility. The Jets' line has been a revolving door of injuries. And Vera-Tucker has been the guy holding it all together. He plugged holes at left guard, left tackle, right tackle. He did everything but snap the ball. And he didn't just fill in, he dominated at those positions. That kind of flexibility is an absolute lifesaver for any coaching staff. But coming back in 2024 and starting 15 games, he proved he's still one of the best guards in the game. PFF consistently graded him as an elite player. Him and John Sissom were the best guard duo in probably the entire NFL. And this offensive line is finally looking like one of the best in the NFL. And Vera-Tucker is the anchor. Losing him wouldn't just be losing a good player, it would create a massive hole in the offense. The stakes are incredibly high. He isn't just another piece of the puzzle. For most of his career, he's been the guy holding the puzzle together. All right, let's talk about the elephant in the room. It's the dark cloud hanging over this entire conversation, and it's AVT's injury history. It isn't just a concern, it's genuinely alarming. We're talking about back-to-back season-ending injuries that are some of the toughest for a lineman to come back from. Week 7, 2022, torn tricep, ended his year. He rehabbed, came back, looked fantastic to start 2023. Then almost exactly a year later, it happened again. In week 5, he tore his Achilles. Another season gone. Both injuries in a spooky coincidence happening in Denver, of all places. These aren't minor issues. A torn Achilles can rob a big man of his explosive power. To his credit, AVT came back for the 2024 season and played at a very, very high level for 15 games. But even in a healthy season, he still missed 2 games with an ankle injury. Over his first 4 years, he started 43 games, but he played in 12 total games across 2022 and 2023 combined. For all of his talent, the honest truth is that his availability is a huge question mark. The Jets have to decide if they can build their future around a player who has spent so much time on injured reserve. Let's talk about money now. This is where things get really complicated. The market for top-tier guards is absolutely exploded. This isn't a position you can just find a bargain for anymore. This offseason, Trey Smith of the Chiefs signed a 4-year, $94 million deal, making him the highest paid guard in the league at $23.5 million a year. Before him, you had guys like Landon Dickerson, Chris Lindstrom, and they were already pushing the market sky high. The best guards are now making over $20 million, and based on how AVT plays, his agent might ask for that kind of money. If the Jets want to lock him up, they're probably looking at a deal that pays him somewhere between $20 and $24 million per year, with tens of millions of dollars guaranteed. Are they really ready to guarantee $50 or $60 million to a player with AVT's medical file? That's a scary thought. It is. It's a scary thought. If he stays healthy, it's great. But if he gets hurt again, that contract could cripple the team's salary cap for a good number of years. There's another problem. The Jets starting guard John Simpson is also a free agent after 2025. He played great last year and is going to want a contract himself. Very few teams can afford to pay 2 top dollar guards, so the Jets might have a decision to choose: AVT or Simpson, or do they let them both walk and try to rebuild the interior line from scratch? The decision on AVT has ripple effects for the entire roster. So what can the Jets actually do here? I see 3 options, each with its own pros and cons. Path 1 is a pretty bold one. You extend him right now. If you get the 5th-year option and you sign him to a big long-term deal now. And the logic is simple. You lock up an elite 26-year-old talent at a crucial position. You get ahead of the market and avoid a bidding war next offseason where his price will only go up if he has another great healthy year. It shows faith in the player, but the risk obviously is that you're betting millions that his body will hold up. One bad injury and you're stuck with one of the worst contracts in the league. Path 2 is the wait and see approach. Let him play on the 5th-year option. This is probably the safest option for the team. It gives them 1 more year to see if he can stay healthy. If he plays all 17 games and continues to be a force, the decision is much easier. You will have to pay him more than what you would right now, but you'd be paying for a guy who's proven the durability concerns are way behind him. The risk here is that if he has an all-pro season, the price could jump from $23 million a year to $25 plus a year. And finally, path number 3 is the cold, hard business move. Trade him or let him walk. This feels pretty unlikely given his talent, but you can't rule it out. The Jets could decide the injury risk is too much to build around. They could try to trade to a team that needs a guard and is willing to take the gamble. That would clear his $15.3 million salary and all the risk, but it would also gut one of the team's biggest strengths. This feels like a last resort, basically admitting that they can't figure out how to solve the risk versus reward puzzle. So, after looking at the elite talent, the scary injury history, and the booming guard market, here's my take. The Jets need to take the second path. They should let AVT play the entire 2025 season on his 5th-year option. As tempting as it is to lock him up now, it's just too big of a gamble. Throwing 50 or 60 million guaranteed on a player who's had 2 major season-ending injuries in back-to-back years is just not smart business. The risk of that contract becoming a financial anchor is just too high, especially for a team that has finally cleaned up its salary cap mess. The wait-and-see approach is the most logical move. It's essentially a 1-year prove-it deal. It gives the front office one more critical season of data on whether his body can handle a full 17-game season slate. It's a risk the Jets should be willing to take because the alternative is paying a guy who ends up back on the IR. That's so much worse. If he dominates and stays healthy, you gladly pay him his market value, knowing you're investing in a durable elite player. If he gets hurt again, you have your answer without wrecking your team's financial future. It's a calculated risk, but it's the smartest one that they can make. But that's just my 2 cents. This is one of the toughest calls the Jets have to make in a number of years. And I want to know what you think. Is AVT's talent worth the massive injury risk? Should the Jets pay him now, wait it out? Let me know your verdict down in the comments below. What would you do if you were Darren Mougey and Aaron Glenn? If you want more deep dives into every move the Jets make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching.